All right, everyone. The time is 2 p.m. We're going to go ahead and get started. This is the State Expedited Accusations calendar in the State Court of Fulton County, Georgia. I am Judge Melanie Williams, and today is November the 4th of 2023. This particular calendar is for those individuals who have been recently arrested, but the cases have already been formally accused by the Solicitor General and bound over to state court. All defendants, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You also have the right to an attorney at this proceeding today. All participants, this particular proceeding is being broadcast over the internet as a live stream. It's also being recorded. That means any member of the public can log on and watch. Defendants, when I ask if you understand your rights, those are the rights to which I'm referring. Those who receive a signature bond will be reset for the notice by a division judge. Those who receive a surety or cash bond will be reset to the state all-purpose calendar on November the 16th, whereby bond and other aspects of your case can be revisited. All right. Who have all defense attorneys had the opportunity to interview their clients?
I have not, Your Honor. If I can get a moment to talk to my client, Miles
All
Harrell.
right. Can we have a phone number where Mr. Fisher can give the jail a call?
Call 404-612-2392.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who has not had the opportunity to interview their clients?
Just one of mine with the public defender's office. Mr. Don Thula needed an interpreter, so I haven't had a chance to speak with him yet.
A Spanish interpreter, or what type of interpreter?
Telugu.
Okay, I'm not sure are we gonna have that or be able to get that type of interpretation, Miss Grace?
Okay. Yes.
So, Judge, I sent the email to Translation Station, but I haven't heard anything back on either one of the interpreter requests.
Your
We
Honor,
have more than one?
We had two requests, so I'm not sure if they have someone on duty today or not, but I haven't received any response back from them.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Jordan. Ms. Falk?
I was just going to say, if it'll speed this process up, the state actually does have a recommendation that I believe the PD's office would be willing to accept on behalf of their client. We are recommending signature bond through the jail.
Sure, but we still have a problem.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
I
I know. I know.
What I was hoping is if Miss Maxwell could call, I know there's a language line, if she could call him and just communicate the recommendation, if he would accept that, that would then waive the first appearance issue.
You still have to have a first appearance. It doesn't waive the issue. But let's see. Let's see if we can get it figured out. Miss Maxwell, maybe if you'll give that line a call. Can we take a case that does not belong to Miss Maxwell first? All right. Thank you all. Lots of logistics and moving parts on this Saturday. Not ideal. But thank you, Ms. Falk. All right. Who do we have first at quorum 2?
We can do position number 18, Winbush.
And while he's coming up, courtroom 2, I sent over a plea recommendation on Mr. Harris.
Doing it now.
Okay, Mark Harris, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Winbush, your case is 23 CR 0068883B. You're charged with battery and disorderly conduct. Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have Mr. Winbush's history? If you're speaking, Mr. Howard, we can't hear you.
Oh, I was. I'm gonna defer to the state. I didn't see that pool sheet with Winbush and white on it.
Okay. All right. Is this Mr. Thomas's case? Mr. Thomas, please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Our records indicate that there is no record for defendant Winbush. But Your Honor, the brief facts of the case is that essentially that on June 22nd, 2023, officers responded to a dispute involving neighbors at the location of 265 18th Street, Northwest Atlanta, Georgia. Upon arrival, they spoke with the victim. The victim in this case is Miss Rebecca Amazi, Ammazi. She stated that she was continuing to have issues with her neighbor. She stated that the neighbor had been playing music loudly, and I guess that was the source of said issue. She stated that she knocked on Mr. Wumbush's door and asked him to turn the music down, but he did not do so. She returned to her own apartment, at which time he knocked on the I'm sorry, at which time Mr. Wimbush came to her home, knocked on the door. She cracked the door. She spoke with him. He began yelling and acting belligerently, and I think he began pointing towards her, at which time she attempted to shut her own door. And in the process of attempting to shut her own door unsuccessfully, he ultimately pushed his way. She actually had to grab a metal object out of fear to protect herself. The state has had an opportunity the state has had an opportunity to speak with her. She has advised us of the several injuries that she sustained during the matter. She advised that she sustained bruising, scratches, a sprained knee. She's provided some photos to the state. She said that she has to wear a knee brace because it hurts so bad. She states that she wants a no contact and a stay away from her residence, which is the 265 18th Street, apartment 2424, Atlanta, Georgia, 30363 location. The state's recommendation is a 2,500 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, the no contact, the stay away, and one anger management course. And I believe she's on the call today. And so if we can sound for Miss Rebecca Amazi in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated, Your Honor.
Okay. Is Ms. Amazi present and wishes to make a statement?
Judge,
Yes, Mr.
I
Howard.
just looked it up. Second arrest, 2013, out of New Jersey, simple assault conviction.
Okay,
All right, just for the record.
thank you. Ms. Amazi is not present.
I am, however, I do not want to speak. I believe that the state has properly represented my case.
Okay, thank you. All right. Who represent Mr. McLean? Please proceed.
Your Honor, we would ask the court to consider a signature bond for the, I believe, are there 3 charges on this at this point?
I see 2.
Your Honor, and I failed to announce that we've decided to NOD the criminal trespass charge. We're simply just moving forward with the battery, which I believe the facts made out the indicia for that, and the disorderly conduct. I believe the facts made out the indicia for that as well.
Okay. I see 2 charges, so 2, Mr. McLean.
Okay, so our main point would partly be that the disorderly conduct alleged would amount to the battery itself. So we would ask the court to consider a signature bond, and if not a signature bond, something in the neighborhood of $1,000 to $2,000.
All right.
No, Your Honor, if I could argue that.
I would prefer you didn't. I think I understand. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. I appreciate your advocacy, however. All right. Defendant is going to receive a $2,500 split bond. It's going to be $1,500 surety on count 1, 1,000 signature on count 2. He's to have no contact with Miss Amazi, and he is to stay away from that incident location on 18th Street. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition of that bond. And as a reminder, he will be reset to state our purpose because of the surety bond that I have put in place. Is there anything additional?
Your Honor, is that signed through the jail or signed through pretrial?
The second charge will go through the jail.
Very good. Understood.
Your Honor, I'm so sorry. This is the victim speaking, and I wanted to make another point, if possible.
No. If you want to make another point, you have to turn on your camera, raise your right hand, and we have to put you under oath.
It's not really a point. It's more so of a request about social media, anything.
You can't talk to me until I can see you, and your camera is on, and you're under oath.
I understand. I would not like to do so this time.
Okay. But I will explain this to you. The no contact means he cannot contact you at all, whether through text, social media. If he sees you coming, he's turn around and going the other direction. All right. Best of luck to you on all parties. That will be the conclusion of Mr. Winbush's case. Can we do Mr. Fisher's case next?
Judge, how much was for this disorderly conduct?
1,000 SOB through the jail.
Your Honor, can I ask a quick question to Mr. Mike McLean?
Sure.
Regarding Miles Harrell. Mike, is he still going to be signing that diversion form?
I see a private attorney who has joined us, so I assume that without
his
me
own
even being
counsel.
aware that the private attorney has been hired by the family or somebody, and we should bring that attorney up to speed. Hi, Mr. Fisher.
Hey, Mr. McLean.
It's good to see you. So there is
is
a
it-
diversion offer, but y'all should talk amongst yourselves.
So your client intends to take a plea today, Mr. Fisher?
No, Your Honor. I don't have any I don't have any information about this case. I just got retained less than an hour ago. I was hoping that the state would just dismiss this case. Frankly, I think that these officers were overly zealous when they arrested my client.
Well, I'm pretty sure they don't intend to do that. Miss Fogg, do you intend to dismiss position 6? Doesn't sound like it to me.
No, Your Honor, but
I
we
think
have
so.
sent Mr. Fisher the diversion form. We had sent the defense.
Is there a way I can have a breakout session with Miss Falk?
Miss Falk, this isn't your case, is it?
It is.
Okay. So let's go somewhere else. Can we take another case? And I don't have any objection to Miss Falk speaking to Mr. Fisher in a breakout. So if we could put those two parties in, Mr. Jordan, thank you. And I'll take someone else at courtroom 2.
Can we do position add-on 1 and, well, actually, he's position number 15 and add-on 1.
15 and add-on 1. All right, hold on. I didn't see the add-on, so let me. Pull up the add-on calendar. Hold 1 second. All right. All right. Pronounce your name for me, your last name for me, sir.
Spigner.
Spigner. Mrs. Spigner, you have 2 cases today. 23 CR 0068880J, in which you're charged with simple battery, family violence with the state of October the 3rd. You also have the case, if it will let me see it, 23 CR 0068886J, in which you're charged with fleeing and eluding, failure to obey a stop sign, a seatbelt violation, driving while your license was suspended, and giving false information. Do you understand your rights? You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, what?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Mr. Howard, please proceed.
49 total. Last arrest was 2022 for battery that's open in state court. Looks like he's on probation for drug trafficking and possession of different drugs. 2018 probation, disorderly conduct, NOLO. 2017 probation and parole violation. 2012 ag assault conviction. I stopped there.
Okay. This wasn't Ms. Falk's case. Okay, good. Mr. Thomas, please proceed.
Yes, which case would you like me to take first? The simple
It says
battery?
either one. I'll leave it up to the state.
Your Honor, the facts of the simple battery is essentially that on October 3rd, 2022, the officer responded to the incident location 2380 Metropolitan Parkway Southwest regarding a fight in progress. Dispatched advised that they could hear a possible physical altercation taking place at the time. The officer spoke with the reporting party, that reporting party being the victim, Marina Durrell. The victim reported to the officer that she was jumped. During investigation, officer on a separate date, October 19, 2022, spoke with the victim, who advised the same thing, that the defendant and 3 females attacked her. She reported that her and the defendant were in a relationship for about a year. She stated that she was with a friend that the defendant didn't necessarily approve of. She advised that she was at a location, and the defendant came to that location and told her to come outside. She advised that due to their due to his past behavior, she began to call 911. And when she got outside, the defendant and three females began to beat on her. She also advised the defendant punched her in the face and began kicking her until she fell to the ground. She also reported that the other females began to hit her. I I do believe that appears. One moment, Your Honor. The officer then asked her if the defendant said anything during the altercation, and she advised that he said that basically that's what that BITCH gets. Your Honor, given the history, given the open cases that we've heard of, that open 2022 battery out of Fulton County, it's an actual dormant warrant. It's a different victim, however, and the open 2023 ag assault on a law enforcement officer and fleeing and attempting to elude, the state would be asking for a $7,500 surety bond, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, no contact with the victim in this case, a stay away from that incident location, and the completion of a family violence intervention program. And on this case, if we can sound for the victim, Miss Marina Durrell, that'd be greatly appreciated in accordance with Marcy's law, Your Honor.
All right, let's go ahead and sound for Ms. Durrell. Ms. Durrell, if you're here, please turn on your camera and raise your right hand. Hearing and seeing none, Mr. McLean.
Your Honor, the case is open. It is over a year old. There have been no difficulties between these parties during that year. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond or something low in the way of 1,000 because of the it is one count and it is a simple battery family violence as opposed to battery family violence.
All right. Let's make sure, because this happens a lot. Miss Miss Durrell is not present. Okay. Defendant will receive a $3,000 surety bond. He's to have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim, last name Durrell, and stay away from that incident location. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. And we'll now take on the add-on case. Mr. Thomas?
Your Honor, the add-on case is essentially, for the most part, traffic offenses, but the allegations are, or the brief facts of the case is that an officer was patrolling in the area of Metro Parkway and Peg Road. He drove into an apartment complex. I do believe that he made contact with the vehicle that the defendant was in. One moment. There was some suspicion of illegal activity taking place. I do believe that the driver of the officer made contact with the vehicle. The vehicle then left the location. I do believe that the officers then got back in their patrol car, initiated their blue lights and sirens, and followed the vehicle. They found the vehicle traveling northbound on Metropolitan Parkway and making a left on Avery Road, southwest, traveling west. The vehicle continued on Avery Road and then made a right on Perkinson's, traveling north. At the intersection of Avery Road and Perkinson's, there was a stop sign. They did not come to a complete stop during this pursuit. The officers eventually lost visual of them. However, they were able to. Looks like they were able to. One moment, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they lost contact of them, but they were able to identify the vehicle. Earlier in their communication, the defendant gave the name and a date of birth, his name and date of birth as being Quinton, Quinton Porter, date of birth 09/13/19 1983. The name and the date of birth were incorrect. I get also during the matter, the defendant was not wearing his seatbelt, and one moment. His driver's license came back with an active suspension from January 23rd, 1999, looks like to February 13th, 2018. Your Honor, the recommendation from the state on these cases is that the bond remain the same. I think the current bond as it is $1,000 on each charge. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and no driving without a valid license.
Okay. Mr.
1,000 on each charge for a total of what?
I do believe it's a total of
Five.
5,000. There's five.
5,000. There's 5
Okay.
charges. Mr. McLean, in light of the information before me, I'm inclined to give him an SOB through the jail with the condition that he cannot drive without a valid license issued by the Georgia DDS. Do
I
you
will-
have any objection or additional information you'd like to add to the record?
I would think not, Your Honor. I will discuss that with him further, but that signature bond is appreciated, yes.
All right, defendant's going to receive a $5,000 SOB through the jail, 1,000 for each count. He is not to drive unless he has a valid license issued by the Georgia DDS. All right, I believe that concludes your case, sir. Can we go back to Mr. Fisher and Ms. Falk? Is there an announcement?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that's who I needed to see. I was looking, and if I could sound for Mr. Ethan Harrell.
Yes, I'm present.
All right. Your Honor, the state is recommending and because of his age, he would need a cosigner, just a signature bond through pretrial services with a cosigner, no further violent contact with Ethan Harrell, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Mr. Harrell is present and did state he, through his attorney, that through Mr. Miles Harrell's attorney, that he wishes to have Miles Harrell, his son, return to the home. Is that correct, Mr. Harrell?
Yes,
I'd
ma'am.
have to put him under oath before we do.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, since we're going to take up his case, hold on. Mr. Harrell, your case is 23 CR 006874A. You're charged with simple battery family violence. You understand your rights today? I'm assuming he's saying yes. You understand your rights? Okay, I'm assuming this was a fight between him and his father. Is that the gist of the case, Ms. Falk?
Essentially, Your Honor, yes, the son pushed his father, so it wasn't a fight per se, it was a push. And the state is asking, because it is his first arrest, a signature bond through pretrial services, no further violent contact with Ethan Harrell, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Mr. Harrell is present. We would like him to just speak on whether he would like his son to return to the home.
Okay, Mr. Harrell, please raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you. And as you heard Ms. Falk indicate, we're not sentencing your son today, that there will be further proceedings perhaps regarding this particular case. But what the court needs to know is whether you have any concerns for your safety and whether you wish for your son to return home.
I do not have any concerns for my safety, and I absolutely would love for him to come home.
All right. Mr. Fisher, I'm inclined to accept Ms. Falk's recommendation and give him that SOB through pretrial. If he was Mr. Howard, let me just double check. He is recommended, or is that going to be per judge?
He was recommended.
Okay. Mr. Fisher, is there anything additional you'd like to add to the record?
Judge, this was just a shove. There was no fight. There was nobody fell to the ground. There was no injuries, no marks, no bruises, no cuts. It was just a son who was just being a little bit frustrated and wanted to do the right thing.
All right. At this time, Mr. Harrell, you will receive a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial services. You are to have no further violent contact with Mr. Harrell, your father. Additionally, of course, you are to have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. You're getting a second chance. Please be respectful of your parents at all times. All right. Is there anything additional from the state of defense?
Is the mother co-signing?
I'm assuming Mr. Harrell can't. What is the name? What's your mom? What is his mother's name, Mr. Fisher?
Autumn,
Autumn.
Autumn, Harrell.
And she'll need to have valid ID when
I'll
they
put
come.
the address in the chat for them.
All right, pretrial is gonna chat you where you'll need to go to pick him up. Make sure you have valid ID.
Well,
You
they
got
need
it.
to go and cosign. He's not gonna be released immediately.
Oh, that's true.
It starts with the cosigner though.
All right,
And she'll co-sign at the jail.
he's gonna give her the address.
Okay, is that going to be in the chat?
Yes.
Okay.
Does that conclude your business, Mr. Fisher?
I would love to hang out.
You're happy that you're welcome to hang out, but you can be excused at any time. All right.
Thank you, Shelley.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, Judge. Okay, I'm going to hang out and wait for the chat for the address.
Have a good day,
Sure.
Mr. Fisher.
All right, thank you. You too.
Not many people choose to continue to hang out with us, but you're more than welcome. All right. Who do I have next?
Position 1, Mr. Malachi Bill.
All right, Mr. Beard, your case is 23 CR 006868H. You're charged with battery family violence. Do you understand your rights? All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
23 total. Last arrest was October 29th, DeKalb County. Crossing state county guard lines with drugs, weapons without consent, trespass. That's open. Got an open case in Fulton, possession of drug-related objects. 2017 probation. 2014 unlawful for inmate to possess a controlled substance conviction. 2013 burglary, theft by receiving conviction. And a couple of probation violations. That's all.
All right, thank you. Ms. Falk?
Your Honor, let me make sure I heard the right name. Is this Malachi Beard?
It is, position 1.
This incident happened July 1st, 2023 at 979 Pelham Street Northwest. Miss Sydney Graham reported that the defendant, the father of her child, beat her up. The defendant had gone through her phone and began questioning her. When he approached her, he began punching her repeatedly in the face. Miss Graham stated she dropped to the ground, curled up in a fetal position. The defendant walked out. And when Miss Graham got off the floor, the defendant returned and began punching her in the face again. The defendant then stopped because Miss Graham again dropped into a fetal position, and Miss Graham then ran into the bathroom and called 911. Officers did observe bruising and a cut over Miss Graham's forehead. We did have an opportunity to speak with Miss Graham. She stated she and the defendant have been together for 7 years and have 2 children. And she stated they do not have a domestic violence history and she wants contact. The state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services, FBIP. Stay away from 979 Pelham Street Northwest. No further contact with Sydney Graham and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Although Ms. Graham does want contact, we do have concerns based on the history, particularly the possession of a firearm conviction, as well as his FTAs and probation violations, which we feel make him a higher risk. That's all for the state, and we would like to sound for Ms. Graham.
All right, Ms. Graham, if you're present, I need you to turn on your camera and raise your right hand, please. All right, do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge under the penalty of perjury?
I do.
All right. Again, I am not sentencing Mr. Beard today, so what I'm most concerned with is any concerns you may have for your safety and any thoughts you have regarding contact with a defendant. In light of those instructions, what would you like to tell me?
I do want contact with Malachi. I don't have any fears for my life. We've been doing really good. He's been working. I just broke my arm, so it's been really hard without him. We have a good relationship. It was just a rocky place in our life, and I regret all of this, but I would like the charges dropped. I don't know if state picked it up, but we're okay.
All right, thank you. Ms. McLeod?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good afternoon.
My client is 31 years old. He's going to be 32 very soon. He tells me that he and the complaining witness share 2 young children. I believe they're like 1-year-old and 2-year-old, Your Honor. He is also self-employed. He tells me that he cuts trees. This incident allegedly happened in June or the 1st of July. So it's been quite some time, Your Honor. I believe her testimony was that there was no history of violence between them at all, Your Honor. Even though the state is saying that they are concerned about his history. His history has nothing to do with any kind of attacks against her or any such thing. She has stated there is nothing between them, Your Honor. And she has also stated that she wants him to be there with her to take care of their two young children. The well-being of the children is an important factor, and it sounds to me like they definitely need their father. At least that is what their mother says. And I would imagine that two children that young do need to have both parents involved with them. So based on that, Your Honor, I would ask that you condition his bond on no further violent contact as opposed to no further contact. And we are fine with the signature bond. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Right. Defendant will receive a $2,500 surety bond. He is to have no further violent contact with the alleged victim and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional?
Your Honor, I was wondering, the state was okay with a signature bond, so.
I understand. My ruling is my ruling. All right.
Okay.
All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. Beard. That concludes your case.
Thank you.
Your
All
Honor,
right.
was there any condition? I did not hear that part.
No further violent contact.
Thank you, Your Honor. And that concludes my business before
I
the
do
court.
have one question. Can I have
The best thing to do is to give Ms. McLeod a call, okay? Because I can't give you any specific legal advice or answer any questions.
I'll put my number in the chat for you, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Ms. McLeod, you can be excused. Take care. Have a good weekend.
You too, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Don't log off yet so I can send you the number.
All right. Who do we have next?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is ACDC. Before you is position 11, Miss Olivia Murray.
And ACDC has not heard their rights, correct?
Correct.
All right, all defendants, including those at ACDC, you have an absolute right to remain silent. Anything you say regarding the facts of your case can and will be used against you. You also have a right to an attorney. I'm broadcasting this proceeding over the internet as a live stream. It's also being recorded. So when I ask if you understand your rights, that is what I'm referring to. Ms. Murray, your case is 23 CR 006877F. You're charged with theft by taking. Do you understand your rights today? All right, thank you, Mr. Howard.
What number is this?
She's 11.
11. This is her 10th arrest. 2022 probation, failed to appear. On probation for robbery. She was convicted in 2016. They gave her 3 years to serve and 17 years probation. I got a probation hold out of Cobb County.
Okay.
I think that robbery is out of Cobb too, if I'm not mistaken.
So the probation, okay, understood. All right, Mr. Thomas.
Your Honor, brief facts of the case is that on October 27, 2023, the officer was dispatched to the incident location, that incident location being 4230 Wendell Drive, Southwest Atlanta, Georgia, 30336, which is Fulton Inn Motel. In regards to a theft, the victim advised that a Black female and a Black male came to her room to advise that her boyfriend owed them money. Owed them money. The victim advised that the Black female's name was Olivia. The victim also stated that the defendant, Olivia, left her room and stole her Samsung A14 phone. She also advised that the male later returned the phone that the defendant stole. However, she still wanted to press charges at the time. Your Honor, the recommendation from the state is a signature bond to the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. No contact with that victim. And if you can sound for Miss Faith Harris at the appropriate time in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated. And then lastly, Your Honor, a stay away from that incident location. Looks like Fulton Inn Motel. Nothing further from the state at this time, Your Honor.
And I'm sorry, the name was Faith. What was the name of the alleged victim?
Faith, I just closed it out, sorry.
Faith Harris.
Harris.
All right, is Ms. Harris present? Wishes to make a statement? All right, hearing none. Mr. McLean, I'm inclined to give your client an SOB through the jail with the requirement that she stay away from that location. Any objection or anything additional you'd like to add to the record?
No objection, nothing to add. Thank you.
All right, defendant's gonna receive a $9,000 signature bond through the jail. She's to stay away from that Fulton Inn Motel on Wendell Drive. Have no contact with Miss Faith Harris. Additionally, have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything additional from either party?
Nothing additional.
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, Miss Murray. That concludes your case. Who do we have next?
Number 9, Mr. Jackson.
This is Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson, your case is 23 CR 0068773J. You're charged with theft by taking. Do you understand your rights? All right, Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
7th arrest. Been in custody since October 21st. Got open CP cases for robbery, burglary, theft by taking, and obstruction. Last arrest was back in June. It was for a battery out of Cobb. That's open on probation for simple battery in state court as of April. Theft by taking, entering auto in Superior Court. That's all.
Okay. Ms. Falk, is this your case? Please proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. So there's a little bit more to his history I want to put on the record. The defendant has a conviction for simple battery against Mia Jackson, or Mia Jackson, I may be saying her name wrong, under 22 CR 0000649Y. Another conviction against Mia Jackson, who's the same victim in our case, under 22 CR 007641Y. Another conviction for simple battery against her under 22 CR 008449Y, at which point he was sentenced on April 3rd, on April 20th of 2023 by Your Honor to probation along with no further contact with Miss Jackson and 24 weeks of family violence intervention. He also has an open case under 23 CR 006578J, which again with Mia Jackson, where he caused swelling and bruising. He was given a $3,000 surety bond and no further contact, as well as stay away from Myrtle Drive by Judge Morrow on October 23rd, 2023. In this case, this actually predates the last incident. It happened on October 10th at 3258 West Manor Lane. The defendant appeared at Miss Jackson's home, who's his mother, was banging on the front door. Miss Jackson stated the defendant that she would not let the defendant in, so he damaged her door. She then ran outside, and while running away from him, she dropped her phone. The defendant picked it up and then ran away as she asked him repeatedly to return her phone. We were unable to get in contact with Miss Jackson, but I will point out that based on this extensive history, the state will be recommending this for aggravated stalking. This is a lengthy pattern of abuse against his mother that we have some serious concerns with, and a blatant violation of the no further contact that your Honor put in place. The defendant is currently on $32,500 of surety bonds on 23 CP 222849 and has a $3,000 surety bond, as I had stated earlier, on that other battery case. The state is recommending a $2,000 surety bond, stay away from 1870 Myrtle Drive, no further contact with Miss Mia, and that's MEYAH Jackson. Also, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. If Miss Jackson is on the line, we would like to sound for her and ask her if she would like to speak.
All right, Miss Jackson, are you present and wish to make a statement? I don't see anyone with that name either.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Miss Maxwell, please proceed. Or is it Mr. McLean's case?
This one's mine.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Jackson is denying the charges and disputing the narrative. He will not have any issue once released of staying away from his mother or his mother's address. He's a lifelong Atlanta resident. He lives with his aunt and works at Target stocking shelves. He is on a very fixed income, so we would ask for a reasonable bond. He has, as the state mentioned, about $35,000 other dollars in bond. I would ask that the court consider a signature on this count, just keeping in mind how he's already sitting on quite a large sum for someone who currently doesn't have any income.
I just need to clarify, what was the alleged item that was taken? Because this is a theft by taking.
Cell phone, Your Honor. She dropped her cell phone. He picked it up, and then ran away from her as she demanded her cell phone back.
Okay. Defendant's going to receive a $9,000 signature bond through the jail. Have no contact with Ms. Jackson. Stay away from that address on Myrtle Street, and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything additional?
No, Your Honor.
All right. All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. Jackson. Who do we have next?
Position 2, Campbell.
All right, Mr. Campbell, your case is 23 CR 006869Y. You're charged with criminal trespass. Do you understand your rights? Is that a yes?
Yes.
All right. Mr. Howard?
What we got here? 11 total. Last arrest was in September, failed to appear. Got 2020 ag stalking obstruction that was dismissed. 2020 probation, failed to appear. 2019 furnishing alcohol, criminal trespass conviction. 2019 failed to appear. 2018 trespass conviction. And a 2017 possession of marijuana conviction. That's all.
Okay. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened November 3rd at 2320 Cheshire Bridge Road, which is the BP gas station. Mr. Asif Rupani asked the defendant to leave the location. Mr. Rupani then asked him to leave again in the presence of the officer. The defendant refused to leave. The officer told him he would go to jail if he didn't leave. The defendant continued to refuse to leave and was arrested. We're recommending an SOB through the jail. Stay away from 2320 Cheshire Bridge Road, the BP gas station. No further contact with Asif Rupani, and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
I'm inclined to grant that, Ms. Maxwell. Any objections?
No, Your Honor. I was going to ask. I think
All right.
Granted.
All right. Defendant will receive a $7,000 SOB through the jail. He's to stay away from that BP gas, have no contact with Mr. Lupani, have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Anything additional? All right. Best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your case. What do we have next?
Number 5, Franklin.
All right, Mr. Franklin, your case is 23 CR 006870B. In this case, you're charged with battery family violence. Do you understand your rights today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
4th adult arrest. Last was 2016 probation. On probation for burglary. That's 15 SC 132560. In 2015, they gave him 20 years probation. And a 2014 theft by taking. That's all.
Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident happened at 3540 Camp Creek Parkway on November 3rd. The defendant had purchased pizza for his little sister. The little sister gave the defendant's stepfather, who is Mr. Dura, stated that Wilfred Dura stated he could have a slice of pizza. Mr. Dura then took a slice of pizza. The defendant observed this, swatted the pizza away, and then punched and kicked Mr. Dura multiple times. Mr. Dura did suffer a busted lip and visible injuries to his mouth. Mr. Dura asked the officer for an escort to the property so he could gather his things. Upon arrival to the property, the defendant confronted Mr. Dura and the officer, saying he wished to talk. The defendant then admitted to the officer to punching Mr. Dura over the slice of pizza, but did not think it was that big of a deal. We have attempted to make contact with Mr. Dura and did leave a message for him. We are asking for a $2,500 surety bond through, a $2,500 surety bond, Family Violence Intervention Program, a stay away from 3540 Camp Creek Parkway, Apartment G in Atlanta. We would agree to a one-time escort to ensure that Mr. Dura is no longer at the property, and no further contact with Wilfred Dura. We're also requesting no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We would like to sound for Mr. Wilfred Dura at this time.
All right. Is Mr. Dura present and wishes to make a statement? All right, Ms. Maxwell.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Franklin is 26 years old. He works at Last Parking as a parking attendant and has worked there for the past 3 years. He's a lifelong Atlanta resident, as is his family, who he's very close to. He is one of the main supporters and his family main financial supporters. And part of, I guess, the background of this incident is that his stepfather had recently lost his job, and there was a lot of tension in the house as a result of that. Just for a little bit of context, we would ask that the court consider allowing him to be released on a signature bond, as he is the main financial provider for his family. We would also ask that the court order it as no violent contact rather than no further contact, as they are still family, even though they've had this incident.
All right. Unfortunately, because Mr. Dura is not present to announce his wishes, I am going to do the no further contact. Defendant will receive a $1,500 surety bond. He's to have no contact with Mr. Dura and stay away from that location. He can return one time with a police escort to determine whether or not Mr. Dura is still there. If Mr. Dura is not there, he can return. If Mr. Dura is still there, he can collect his belongings with that escort. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Is there anything additional?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Best of luck to you, sir. That concludes your case at this time. Who do we have next?
Number 8, Hopkins.
All right, Mr. Hopkins, your case is 23 CR 006872G. You're charged with battery family violence. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard, can I have his history, please?
Third arrest, last arrest was 2022. Possession of marijuana. Appears to be open at a car. An open shoplifting out of Morrow. That's all.
All right, thank you. Ms. Falk? You're muted.
Thank you, Your Honor. November 3rd, 2023 at 6955 Smoke Ridge Drive in South Fulton, Miss Tamia Hopkins stated she was downstairs in the bathroom. Defendant asked her to exit. They began arguing. He came into the bathroom, began throwing out her items. He then punched her in the face several times after she called him a B. Miss Hopkins had several minor lacerations to her bottom lip and nose, as well as minor bleeding. Miss Hopkins then scratched the defendant to get him off of her and grabbed a knife to protect herself. The defendant claimed Miss Hopkins threw multiple items at him. However, there was an independent witness, Miss Ashanti Jackson, who stated the defendant was upset because Hopkins was in the bathroom, began throwing her items out, and that they began arguing, and the defendant grabbed Miss Hopkins by her hair and began striking her in the face multiple times. The state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond, family violence intervention program, stay away from 6955 Smoke Ridge in South Fulton. No further contact with Miss Tamia Hopkins, that is TAMEYA. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons. We did attempt to reach out to Miss Hopkins, and we would like to sound for her in case she is, well, actually, I take that back. Well, in case she is here, I see a Samsung, so I'm not sure if that may be her.
All right, Ms. Hopkins, if you're present, we need you to turn on your screen, your camera, and raise your right hand, please. All right, hearing and seeing none. Ms. Maxwell?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Hopkins is 22 years old. He's a lifelong Atlanta resident. He works as a security officer and has for the past 7 months. He's a new father to a 5-month-old baby that he helps to support. He has completed high school and some college. This incident, as he explained it to me, is not quite as cut and dry. He also left this altercation with injuries and is denying the charge in its entirety. The independent witness mentioned was a close friend of the alleged victim. And for Mr. Hopkins, he has video of part of this fight that he intends to dispute these charges. We would ask the court consider that his situation with his new child and the precarious financial position that having an infant puts on a family, and would ask the court to order a low bond or a signature bond.
All right. Defendant is going to receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial per judge. He's going to take the one-day anger awareness course, have no contact with Ms. Hopkins, and stay away from wherever she resides. They do share a child, is that correct?
I know that Miss Hopkins is his sister.
Okay,
Right, they're
I wanna make sure.
siblings.
Okay, hopefully, yes, okay.
Mhm.
Forgive me of that. All right, additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition of that SOB through pretrial. Is there anything further?
No, thank you,
Your Honor.
All right, best of luck to you, Mr. Hopkins.
Position
All right.
10, Campbell.
I was informed that we're not going to be able to use the language line as it pertains to position. I believe he's 2 and 3. Does he speak any other language that we're aware of, Ms. Maxwell? Sometimes when we tell people we have to reset for interpretation, there's some other language they might be able to understand. Would you like to?
If I can go into a breakout room with him for a moment, I can try to see.
I don't
if
think we
there's-
can because he's at courtroom 2.
Mm.
Okay, we'll continue. Can we ask him at the jail if he speaks anything else that we might be able to get interpretation for, so we don't have to reset him? All right, this is position 10, Mr. McClendon. Mr. McClendon, your case is 23 CR 006885F. You're charged with simple battery family violence. I know you're muted. Do you understand your rights?
You already spoke to the interpreter?
All right, thank you. Ms. Howard, can I have the history, please?
McClendon,
Yes.
9th arrest, 2018 battery dismissed out of Chatham County, 2010 battery conviction. That's all I have.
2010?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Thomas?
The state had a different history, Your Honor, but I don't think it changes anything. But brief facts of the case is that on October 5th, 2022, the officer responded to the incident location on a dispute call. The victim advised, the victim in this case being Monica Panel. She advised that her boyfriend, the defendant, her and her boyfriend had been living together for 2 years. She stated that they had an argument. She stated that she left the apartment, and then when she returned, she stated that they got into another verbal argument, and that the defendant walked into the bedroom and slapped her to the right side of her face with an open fist. The victim did not sustain any injuries as a result of that. Your Honor, we have been able to get in contact with the victim. I do believe that she is on the call. I do believe that she states that she is not in fear of the defendant and that she wishes to have contact. So the recommendation from the state in this situation is a signature bond, the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. It is a rather it's a rather older incident date. So the recommendation from the state is a no further violent contact and for the completion of 1 day of anger awareness. And if at this time we can sound from Ms. Monica Panell, Pannell, in accordance with Marcy's law, that'd be greatly appreciated.
All right, I see Ms. Panell. If you'd like to make a statement, please turn your camera on and raise your right hand. Do you swear and affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
I do, yes.
All right. What I'm most concerned with are any concerns you have for your safety and your desire for contact with the defendant in light of those instructions. What would you like to tell me, Ms. Panell?
Actually, I have no concern, no fear, and I would like contact with Percy. We did argue that day, but the reason that I called the police is just because I was upset. It had nothing to do with him. I'm a 61-year-old woman. I was going through financial hardship, and that's basically what it was about. He did not slap me. There was no physical altercation at no time, and I've never been slapped in my face in my life. So that did not happen. I suffered no injuries. Again, I called the police just because I was upset. It was on me. Again, we're an older couple, so all of the scuffling and fighting and things don't happen. But I wanted to let you guys know that
Ms. Panell, I am going to stop you. Remember, I placed you under oath. I don't want you to say anything that might get yourself in trouble, okay? So let's stick to the things you're saying to me might be different, okay? The state is
Okay.
listening, okay? So we'll just stick with you have no concerns for your safety and
None.
you wish to have contact, okay? I know it seems
That is
unfair
correct.
that I'm not letting you tell your story, but I'm trying sometimes to protect people from themselves, okay? Because I don't want you to admit to certain things. All right, I appreciate you coming to court and making that statement. Mr. McLean, this is your client? Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Maxwell?
He's my client. I'm sorry. I was trying
All
to
right.
figure out the interpreter issue still.
All right, I'm inclined to give him the SOB with no further violent contact. Is there anything you would like to add to the record?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Defendant is going to receive a $7,500 signature bond through pretrial services per judge. Was he recommended, Mr. Howard? I can't recall. No. Okay, not recommended, so it'll be per judge. He's going to take the 1-day anger awareness course. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything additional? All right. Sir, I'm giving you a signature bond. Please don't say anything else. Please speak to your attorney. It's not wise to make additional statements. Unless you have do you have a question about the bond? Okay.
About 2010, that's the same.
No. Please. I'm giving you a signature bond. Speak to your attorney, okay? It's very difficult sometimes to save you all from yourselves. Best of luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
What was the amount?
7,500
Thank
SOB
you.
through pretrial per judge.
Number 13.
All right. All right. Are you Charles? I'm gonna pronounce this incorrectly. Perfania? All right.
Your Honor, her name is actually Mary Profania Charles. Charles is the last name. Profania
Okay.
is either the middle name or the maiden name. First name is
Understood.
Mary.
Understood. Thank you. All right. Ms. Perfania, your case is 23 CR 006875C. You're charged with battery family violence and simple battery family violence with the offense date of November the 3rd. Do you understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
First recommended.
Okay. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. This happened November 3rd at 5119 Caliber Creek Parkway in Roswell. Officers made contact with Miss Prevolis Madeline. Miss Madeline had small red scratches on her eyes. Her eyes were red and she had small red scratches on her face. She stated her and her sister-in-law were arguing. The defendant punched her in the left eye with a closed fist, grabbed her wig, pulled it off her head, and pulled an earring out of her ear. She stated she had been living in the apartment for 2 years and the defendant had been living there for 4 months. Officers did speak with the defendant, who claimed that Miss Madeline punched her first. However, officers observed the injuries to Miss Madeline and determined the defendant was the predominant aggressor. This is the defendant's first arrest. We were not able to make contact with Miss Madeline. The state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial services. She will need a cosigner as she is only 18 years of age. No further contact with Miss Prevolis Marie Madeline. Stay away from that address at 5119 Caliber Creek Parkway in Roswell. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and 1-day anger awareness. We would like to sound from Miss Madeline.
All right. Miss Madeline, are you present?
She was born in 1995, actually.
That was my fault. I misread the date. So
Okay,
she will
so
not
she will
need
not need a co-signer.
That
All
is
right.
correct.
All right.
'Cause I thought I missed it. I'm like, hold on, cosigner. Okay.
Miss Madeline is not here. Miss Maxwell, I'm inclined to grant the SOB. Any objection?
No, that's going to be me, Your
Oh,
Honor.
it's yours, Mr. McLean. Any objection?
No objection to the signature bond, Your Honor. I will provide through the chat or whatever the email address, which will be the primary reliable way for her to get her court notices.
Okay, I don't know if that works, but I'm not sure that's how we do that.
Her husband's an over-the-road trucker, and she accompanies him to assist. Although she is not a driver, she assists with the overall over-the-road trucking, and they're very conscientious. I talked to the husband at some length. They're going to be able to stay on top of it.
Well, feel free to provide, but I don't know that that's gonna work to get the notices, Mr. McLean. I can't speak to that. Okay. All right, defendant's gonna receive a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial, 2,500 each count. She's to have no further contact with the alleged victim in this case and stay away from the victim's address. She's gonna take the 1-day anger awareness course and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons. Is there anything additional?
Nothing.
Judge, can I get the correct name for the defendant on this case?
We believe it's Mary Charles Perfania. Is that correct?
No, I believe it's Mary Profania Charles.
Okay.
Mary.
How was she booked in though? Because the orders got to match the book screen.
It's booked in different ways, so you probably just want to ask her.
Okay, she raised her finger, so she said it's Mary Perfania Charles.
Mary? Okay.
All right. Best of luck to you, ma'am. Who do we have next?
Oh, hold on. Is that Mary or Marie?
Oh my God.
Mary.
It's Marie. That's why I asked. Okay.
How are we spelling the first name?
Can we just ask her, y'all?
He's gone. Can we bring back Miss Perfania Charles for a moment just to clarify her name?
Hold on, Judge, they on the way in.
Did you do anger awareness for this?
I did. Ma'am, just please tell us your name and will you pronounce it and spell your first name for us?
My first name is Mary, Maera, Perfania, Prephanea, Perfania.
Okay.
My last name is Charles.
Okay. Thank you. We appreciate that. All right, you can be excused. You still have a signature bond. Who do we have next?
Number 17, White.
All right, Mr. White. Is that Mr. White? Yes. Your case is 23 CR 006882C. You're charged with obstruction, possession, and prowling. Mr. Howard, you don't have this history, is that correct?
So I was looking it up while we was going. Hold on, I got something. Let me see. I gotta turn to the other screen. 51 total. 2019 obstruction, ag assault. The ag assault was reduced to reckless conduct conviction. 2010 simple assault conviction. He had something from 2009 as well. And he got several probation violations in his history.
Okay. Thank you.
Not a
Mr.
brief facts of this case. This is a situation where on October 22nd, 2023, the officers observed 3 individuals sitting outside of the building 4220, located at 4220 Industrial Boulevard. I believe that property is the Georgia Auto Pawn. The individual had their belongings with them. Specifically, the defendant had his belongings with him. We believe that he's, I guess, housing insecure. He made a sleeping thing out of a cooler, blankets, and some other items. The officer then instructed the defendant that he had to leave the location. The defendant did not comply. In the process of arresting or detaining the defendant was removed from the cooler when he got up. That exposed a pipe, which is the indicia for the possession of drug-related objects. Your Honor, the recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the jail, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, and a stay away from that incident location. Again, that being Georgia Auto Pawn.
All right. Mr. McClain, I'm inclined to grant that SOB in light of the information before me. Is there anything that you object to or wish to add to the record at this time?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Defendant will receive a $6,000 SOB through the jail, 2,000 each. I'm sorry. Yes, that's correct. My math. 2,000 each count. He is going to stay away from the Georgia Auto Pawn and have no alcohol, drugs, or weapons as a condition of that SOB through the jail. Is there anything additional?
Nothing.
All right. Best of luck to you, Mr. White. That concludes your case.
Number 7, Harris.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Harris. Your case is 23 CR 006871G. You're charged with criminal trespass. You understand your rights?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Howard.
You said Harris?
Harris.
Yes, Harris, number 7.
Cover Paris. Hold on. Oh, you said Harris. I thought he took a plea. This is a plea guy?
He is taking a plea. That
Oh.
is correct. But Your Honor, he has I can
I
let
know I
you
had
know.
crossed it out. I can still give you the history if you want.
Oh, okay.
Oh, 34 total. 2018 theft by receiving. 2013 shoplifting. 2010 probation and forgery conviction. That's all.
All right. And I'm assuming the public defender's office will not be assisting him with taking this plea because this is at the first appearance stage.
Yes, Your Honor. I discussed with him the offer, but I won't be able to assist him in taking the plea.
All right, Ms. Falk, will you put the recommendation as well as a brief factual basis onto the record?
Oh, yes, Your Honor. We are recommending 12 months probation, 1 day to serve in jail, credit for time served 1 day, balance suspended. We are asking that he stay away from the Peachtree City MARTA station. That's located at 216 Peachtree Street in Atlanta, Georgia. This incident happened on November 3rd. Defendant was gained access to an unauthorized stairwell that had a criminal that it literally stated it was authorized for emergencies only and had a no trespassing sign. That is all.
Okay. All right, Mr. Harris, please raise your right hand. I'm going to have to place you under oath for the limited purpose of taking a plea. Do you swear and affirm that the testimony you give today will be the truth to the best of your knowledge and under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You put your hand down. Thank you. I'm going to ask you some questions to make sure this is a voluntary plea, okay?
Ma'am.
All right. And they already have the plea paperwork at the jail?
Yes, we have it. He's already signed.
All right. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol at this time that would affect your ability to understand the plea that you're taking today, Mr. Harris?
No, ma'am.
And you understand you had a right to an attorney today, but the public defender's office is unable to assist you, so you are representing yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel confident to represent yourself at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that you're giving up your right to have the state prove this charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're also giving up your right to present any defenses you may have had in court, such that this case may have been resulted in a dismissal of the charge against you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you wish to go forward and take a guilty plea?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that taking a guilty plea as to the charge of criminal trespass can affect other aspects of your life. It may affect employment, immigration, probation, other aspects that I can't anticipate at this time. You understand that? And you still wish to move forward?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand you cannot go back to the Peachtree Center MARTA station?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that if you do so, it will result in a violation of your probation. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Harris, as to the charge of criminal trespass, how do you plead?
You.
I accept your guilty plea at this time. And best of luck to you, all right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I believe that concludes your case.
Position 3 and 4, I think it's gonna be waived.
All right. Is there an announcement for position 12?
Position 12 and 14 waived, position 16 bond posted.
Okay. All right, so we've waived the appearance for position 3 and 4.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Sharon.
All right. I'm sorry, I saw something in the chat about this. So, Ms. Maxwell, how did you obtain his waiver?
Someone from my office contacted his emergency contact and spoke to Mr. Don Thula over conference call with that contact acting as interpreter.
All right, so we'll take up position 3 and 4. Mr. Howard, can I have the history, please?
First arrest, jail was a recommendation.
All right, and we're taking up cases, let me be clear, 23 CR 006876E, in which defendant is charged with 1, 2, 3, 4 counts of evidence of a winning violation, and 23 CR 006884E with the same, with 3 counts of the same charge. Ms. Falk?
Yes, Your Honor. The state's recommendation on this is a signature bond through the jail on all charges. This incident actually stems from the defendant working at the, and let me just make sure I have the right name. My apologies, Your Honor. He was working at the Texaco Food Mart on 29 Memorial Avenue Southeast. He gave multiple cash payouts to undercover officers who were playing coin-operated amusement machines. So on the 20th, he paid out $50, $40, $25, and $5. On the 3rd, he paid out $90, $50, and $5. This is his first arrest. The state would just ask that he stay away from that address at 29 Moreland Avenue Southeast, the Texaco Food Mart, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, Ms. Maxwell, any objections to that recommendation?
No, Your Honor, we would ask that you grant the signature bond for him.
All right, defendant, as it pertains to the case ending in 6876E, position 3, defendant will receive a $4,000 SOB through the jail and must stay away from that incident location. For the case ending in 6884E, defendant will receive a $3,000 signature bond, $1,000 each count through the jail, and also stay away from that location. Is there anything additional? All right, that concludes that case. And I believe courtroom 2 can be excused. All the others are waived, correct?
Your Honor, we've got a waiver of presence for Mr. Sims, but I did want to address bond.
Of course, but I was gonna just let the jail go. We also have to do position 12 as well. All right, I'll take up position 12 is a waiver, correct?
Is Sims number 12?
No, Sims is 14.
Okay.
Okay. So I have 23 CR 006878C. Defendant is charged with simple battery against a police officer and criminal trespass. All right, Mr. Howard, can I have that history?
Pack has 24 total. Last arrest was October 21st of this year. Trespass, that's open in state court, 23 CR 006577C. He was arrested October 9th on murder for trespass. Hold on. July, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. I have to see what happened. April, simple assault, PI, trespass, 2 counts.
That's sufficient. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Ms. Falk?
It's me, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Thomas. Please proceed.
Hey, so the brief facts of the case is that on October 3rd, 2023, the defendant was seen wayside on eastbound trackway, which is a restricted area, to retrieve he went there to retrieve a cigarette. The officer ran his name and revealed that he had a permanent ban from the MARTA property, from all MARTA properties to be exact. While searching the subject against the wall, he then pushed her off the wall and kicked Officer Marshall in the right thigh. After kicking the officer, he then said, in what appears to be in quotes, "I got you in the nuts. You're not going to be able to have kids." The recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the pretrial services, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons, stay away from all MARTA locations, and 1 anger management course. And the victim is an officer, by the way.
I can tell that quote was quite colorful. All right, Ms. Maxwell. You're muted.
Thank you. Apologize. Yes, I spoke briefly with Mr. Peck. He was not feeling well, and that's why his presence has been waived. He was experiencing some lightheadedness and other symptoms. But I was able to talk with him very briefly. He is homeless and has been working with the PATH Homeless Outreach Program. He's a lifelong Atlanta resident who has some medical history that I don't want to go into too far, but suffice to say, he has been working with a program and would like to continue working with that program. He does not have the means to pay any bond, so we would ask for a signature bond and allow him to continue working with that outreach program.
All right, so he's already in PAD?
Yes, that's what he represented to me.
All right, defendant's gonna receive a $4,000 SOB through the jail, $2,000 on each count. He's to have no further violent contact with the alleged officer and stay away from that location, as well as comply with any MARTA bans that are currently in place. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. All right, we're now going to take up the waive case 23 CR 006879F of Antoine Sims. He's charged with criminal trespass with the offense date of November the 3rd. Mr. Howard, can I have that history as well?
59 total. Last arrest was in January, probation out of Coweta. 2023 trespass, 2022 trespass conviction, 2022 probation, 2021 shoplifting, 3 probation violations, 1 from 2020, 2019, failure to appear 2018, 2017. That's all.
All right, Mr. Thomas. You're muted.
Thank you. Extremely brief facts this time. The accused entered a restricted emergency exit at Peachtree Center MARTA station. Signage clearly stated that clearly stated a criminal trespass warrant. The recommendation from the state is a signature bond through the jail and a stay away from all MARTA locations and no alcohol, drugs, or weapons.
All right, Ms. Maxwell, I'm inclined to grant the SOB through the jail. As it pertains to stay away, does he already have a MARTA restriction?
He might, Your Honor, but he could abide by that. He had a sandwich earlier, and so that's why we waived his presence. His stomach was upset. I agree the facts are extremely brief because the entire case depends upon one not seeing a particular sign.
All right. I'm going to indicate the defendant is going to receive a $4,000 SOB through the jail. He is to comply with any active MARTA suspension and stay away from the Peachtree Center. I'm going to restrict him from there in the event that there is no ban. But if he is not banned from MARTA in its entirety, he still must stay away from that location. Additionally, he's to have no drugs, alcohol, or weapons as a condition. Is there anything further?
Nothing, Your Honor.
All right, I believe we've completed the entire calendar. Number 16 was released. Ms. Green, is that correct?
Judge, can I ask a question? Position 12, what was his bond amount?
Okay.
I'm sorry.
4,000 SOB through the jail, 2,000 each count.
And number 17. I'm sorry.
Miss Grace, can you? I don't remember. Miss
Yes,
Grace.
17 and 6,000 SOB through the jail.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Grace, will you review the entire calendar?
Yes, I'm ready. Position number. I'm ready, but I don't have anything on position number 1. Position number 1 is a 25. I got it, Judge. Thank you. Position number 20. Position number 1 is a 2,500 good bond. Position number 2 is a 7,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 3 is 4,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 4 is a 3,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 5 is a $1,500 good bond. Position number 6 is a 4,000 pretrial bond. Position number 7 was a plea. Position number 8 was a 5,000 pretrial. Position number 9 per judge. Position number 9 is a 9,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 10 is a 7,500 pretrial per judge. Position number 11 is a 9,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 12 is 4,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 13 is a 5,000 pretrial per judge.
She was recommended. But that's fine.
Yeah. Position number 14. I got it.
4,000 jail is what I have. Judge, what you have?
Position
Yes.
13.
14 is 4,000 SOB jail. 15, 3,000 good bond. Position number 16 was released. Position number 17, 6,000 SOB through the jail. Position number 18 was a 2,500 split bond. Any questions, concerns?
And the add-on was 5,000 jail, correct?
Thank you. And I'm always
Yes, add on 5,000 SOB.
yes.
I still didn't get the proper name for 13, but they'll sort it out.
MAREE, I think she said.
No, she said, because that's the Mary I had.
MAREE is what she said. I wrote it down.
Or was it I had MAERE. Was that not it?
No, what don't we gonna worry about it.
Okay.
One
Well,
says
we just go off for the book.
MARIE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought it was Marie. That's what it said.
she spelled it and she said MAE. Well, I don't know. Okay.
She was best on the pronunciation though. I mean, at least it's Mary.
It's Mary, but we all disagree on the spelling. All right. Well, we will be in recess until Monday's SCA calendar. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Honor. Have a good weekend.
Oh, wait, the courtroom, the plea paperwork. Are they going to be able to scan that back for my signature, courtroom 2? Are you still there?
I emailed it to Miss Grace.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, we've already got it. Okay,
Yes.
wonderful. All right, that was better than usual. Thank you all. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.